We are live from both locations right now. Unbelievable stuff. There's going to be some people that don't like that, but I like it in a way. You see the end yet?
Nope.
Oh, my God.
I passed the crossroads like 30 seconds ago.
Jesus. Wow. Did JR just said both those guys are Hall of Famers?
We exactly called that. We called that to a T. We said he'd hit it behind the ref's back. That's exactly spot on what we said would happen. Point for us.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, here we go. Let's start up the music, everybody. What's up, chat? We're going live from both streams.
Yeah.
We're shadow banned on one, going live on the other. All Out AEW. I thought the ending was fun. I kind of liked it. It's just everything was so weird tonight that people are going to be grumbly. We are live for the AEW review. What a shit show. Oh my God. That's what people are saying. What's up, everybody? Let's go. Gian! I can feel you wherever you are around the world. Coming into my home in variable locations. What's up, everyone? I'm Joe Cronin. I'm live with Jake for the AEW All Out review. There is so much to talk about as far as this show goes tonight. It's almost unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable. If you guys would like to join us live, we are broadcasting from multiple locations due to the shadow ban. If you guys want to hop over to the new stream, feel free to do that. It's right here. If you want to stay here, stay here. That's whatever you want to do. It's all good. But there is the alternative stream that we were on. So, you know, whichever way you want to do it, it sounds good to me. Jake, do you want to begin with the pre-show?
Yeah, I probably should start there.
Start with the pre-show. All right.
So let's see. First match that we had was Joey Janela with Sonny Kiss taking on Serpentico with Luther. Pretty run-of-the-mill. Felt like what you would see on Dark. Wasn't bad, but was okay. You know, they're still telling the story of Sonny Kiss working with Janela. I'm curious if we're going to see them ever try and go for the tag titles.
They might try and go, well, cruising around, you know, banging each other with tag titles might be kind of hot.
Might work for them.
I don't know, man. That was
it was an all right opener.
They gave him a gimme, like, here, you need a win back here.
Yeah, there was that, and like I said, it just didn't feel like it was a kickoff to a pay-per-view. Didn't have really much excitement to it.
Yeah, nothing was hitting right. I was judging the fans, like some of the people listening to the shows and watching the shows and what they were saying and what they were doing, and they just were like, it just seemed like a lot of people were kind of grumbly with the pre-show, whatever it is, man, and it was like, okay.
And then we got Private Party taking on the Dark Order, so Reynolds and Silver.
Right.
And I was, you know, it was an okay match. I mean, honestly, there wasn't a lot to it, and I felt like again it was another dark type match. And the thing is, Reynolds and Silver, they are a good tag team. They come out with these tag team sequences and moments and moves that are very innovative. Like I'm shocked that they didn't have them win to make the Dark Order look strong throughout the night. I really thought that they would have told that story, but that apparently was the opposite of what they had in mind at all, as we'd see the Dark Order lose many times throughout the night. So, again.
Yeah, the Dark Order they lost, and we thought that. I said that, and then they lost. I mean, we were like, no, the Dark Order must win everything. We booked them to win the first one.
Yeah.
We're like, well, they're going to win the first one, and then they lose the first one. We're like, wow, okay. And then they friggin' lose the next one. It's just like, what? But whatever. The booking decisions, like far as who wins and loses, didn't even matter really tonight. It was more of
no. I mean, well, certain matches it did, but I see what you're saying. I mean, it was just more about the presentation of what they gave us as far as commentary, the matches, the actual match quality itself. Yeah, I can see what you're getting at.
I'm watching the Matt Hardy fall again, by the way.
Brutal. It didn't feel like an AEW pay-per-view typically feels. It didn't have that. Maybe it is because we still have less of an audience. Maybe that really does make a bit of a hindrance for them to put on these type of shows, but still, they even tried going cinematic, and I thought that was really piss poor. That was terribly abysmal. The actual show starts off with Big Swole pulling up to Britt Baker's dentist office, and Swole gets out. You got the referee with her, who's just happy to be there. She goes in, and that's when Reba, Rebel, whatever you want to call her, is playing the receptionist, and they start to attack her with a clipboard and stuff. And that's when Swole goes hunting for Britt Baker, and she goes to one room. She sees blood all over the floor next to one of the dental chairs. The commentary team made note of that. And then that's when they start,
I gotta
beating
stop
the hell
you.
out of each other.
I gotta stop you. Right when she walked in, I was thinking, wait a minute. I thought this was gonna be a match in the ring, and then I remember you saying, like, no, it's a cinematic thing, and I was like, oh. And then I kind of remembered that, and I was like, okay, whatever. But when the minute she got to the reception part, and then that interaction happened with Swole, and then she grabbed the clipboard and like kind of just tapped her with it.
Yeah, she didn't really beat her with it.
Like, I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Like right then.
A lot of the stuff that they used as weapons looked ridiculous in the sense of like the way they used it. It didn't seem hard hitting at all. And then them fighting, out the building and on top of the motorized cart and into the dumpster. And it's like, it had that been there, done that feel. And then of course they weren't doing a great job selling the moves and the moments either. So it just felt very tedious and boring.
It was worse than the Randy Orton Edge thing. That's all I could think about. That's basically what I was thinking about.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather go and watch the swamp fight match again than this. That's how bad this was to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, it was interesting because I didn't know, what was going to happen, but
the syringe of Novocaine made her leg numb so she couldn't,
yeah,
it was so stupid and cringy. It doesn't, everybody's been to the dentist. Everybody knows how Novocaine works. It doesn't work like that.
I like the idea of her using the laughing gas or oxygen mask or whatever it was to like put her out.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad decision.
That was cool. That could have been the ending. Like, that was fine. But it was just the fact that everything felt so just like cheesy and bad. Like, it really was goofy. And right away I was like, wow, I'm glad that's over. Now let's get to the show, I guess, because yikes.
This could have been on the pre-show, but everybody was complaining on Twitter as well.
Yeah, and I was like,
people in the chat pointed that out, and
we complained. Like, we were like, wow, that, because it was a build. It was like this long build. And then all of a sudden, like, now it's on the pre-show. Yeah, like, so what are they doing? So, like, when I
didn't find it funny. I didn't find it humorous. I didn't find it interesting. It wasn't, there was just nothing to it. There was no substance. Any of the attacks felt lackluster.
Right.
The setting could have been so much better utilized, and the only thing that they really were innovative about was the finish.
Right.
And at that point, you're like, just get it done and over with. It didn't even feel... And the way she sold it, that stuff, it knocked her out, and then she's back up in a second. So,
guys, we are live on a different stream. So if you guys want to come over and abandon this stream, feel free to come over to the new stream because this one was shadowed earlier. So come on over to the brand new stream. We have over 400 watching over there. So if you're in the smaller stream of 310, come on over to the 421 right now, and we'll end this one and go to the other one exclusively. It will help my bandwidth. But feel free to come on over to that stream right now. What up, D. Welsh? Yeah, we're probably going to take calls in a few, brother. Come on over, D. Welsh. Let's take a donation.
Super Chat Party.
Spaz Phoenix coming in.
I may be the NXT guy, but I tried at every turn to give this show a chance. Instead, concussions and alcoholics and pre-taped matches for the first PPV with live fans. Can we take a 3-man dump on this?
Spaz Phoenix, thank you, my friend. Yeah, feel free to get on here at some point, man. Spaz, thank you for the $10.
absolutely. Yeah, Spaz, I know he tried. I know he's the NXT guy, and he gives AEW a hard time, but he was messaging me throughout the show, and he was genuinely trying to enjoy things.
But this is the worst.
It wasn't the night for him to watch.
This is not the night. If you were going to watch AEW, this whole week has been the wrong time to start watching.
Yeah, not a good introduction for him to really get into the...
What was weird was how the producers pulled these guys apart like it was part of the show. Like they were really concerned with Sammy attacking Matt when he was hurt. That's what made me think oh, is this some kind of work? Because why would they were almost selling it like, oh, Sammy still wants to hurt you even though we're trying to say that you can't go on. So that's what made me think...
I think they probably just didn't know what to do. So Sammy was just going to keep going until... That's what it seemed like.
Oh,
to
wait
me.
a minute. Wait a minute. The ground is different. Most of the floor is a concrete floor with cracked areas every once in a while. This is cracked area boards or something every foot or 8 inches. What? What is that? There's a different area here.
Yeah, it's
right here. You think that's styrofoam?
No. Doesn't look it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I see what you're saying, though, but it doesn't look like styrofoam or padding.
Yeah, because the rest of the floor is separated by cracks, but they're 6 feet apart. If you see the regular ground. See, the entire garage is separated by squares of 6 by 6 squares.
Yeah, huge concrete.
But the area he
slabs.
fell on is not that. Even this area here confirms those slabs a few feet away from the crash. But when you go back and look at where he landed, again, like I said,
could be wooden boards, but it doesn't look thick enough. It's weird.
Yeah. It's weird.
Could just be how the floor is. I mean,
yeah, maybe it's maybe I'm looking
could
into
just be the flooring and the angle at which it looks too.
Oof. Oh.
But still, they both cleared more than half the table, so their legs look like it went through, from their hips down, went through the table, but shoulders, head, neck, all of it hits the floor hard.
This is the only area with these 1 foot separation boards.
Is it a ramp upwards? Is that? It kind of looks like it's going up.
No, there's all concrete. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. It's the only area that's different.
Yeah, it just looks like it's slightly elevated.
Right. It looks like it's slightly elevated, and it's the only area that's different, and they happen to land on it.
either way, reports are stating that he's in the hospital now. So
Jesus. It's just the way they did it. It felt, I don't know. What's up, Leah?
yeah, I think they just had no idea what the hell to do at that point.
We're way behind, unfortunately. We'll get there, though. Come look at Matt Hardy. Look at this.
Brutal.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure something out. We just basically went live. This show ran wicked late tonight. Leah was about to record with Monica. She was going to record down here with Monica for their next episode, but we are loaded in here. What's going on, everybody? Let me play another dono. This show tonight was a disaster piece. Like, it was
What else we got?
very crazy.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly. That's it. Want some bubbly? Look at this stuff. Oh, a little bit of the bubbly. That's it.
Not the best, not the worst PPV ever. Line of the night was from Jim Ross telling Excalibur, how the hell do you know that? Show flowed decent but dragged after the Hardy match. The cleaner is coming, I'm excited. Fans were drained from heat and length.
Yeah, I don't even care about the whole cleaner thing. Like, every time someone says that, I cringe. So, but anyway, the Goon. Thank you, Goon. There was so much sweat. There was so much humidity. And the fact of the matter is, Kenny Omega sold a knee injury, and that was the reason why he couldn't save his buddy. He was limping around. Oh, my God, my knee. Oh, my God, I can't get there to save my partner. And the second they lost, he went, oh, and he stormed out of there. He power walked.
As soon as
Kenny
they lost,
Omega.
he was like, F this, I'm out.
He power walked to the back. Like, oh, I wasn't really hurt. Like, talk about not selling at all. Like, the injury.
Was infuriating.
Jim Cornette is going to shit on this pay-per-view. And it's well-deserved. This was bad. I'm sorry. This was the worst AEW pay-per-view ever, obviously. And it was ugly. Anyway, the Big Swole thing started. That was fucking stupid. Big Swole sounded like a big fucking idiot to start the show. Britt Baker was goofy. I'll give them this. It's potential that Britt Baker isn't 100% yet, and that's why they went with this indoor fight thing. Fine, okay. But it was horrible. So on to the next match, Jake.
Next match, we had the Young Bucks taking on Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. So I wasn't crazy about this one either. This felt like something we'd see and have seen on Dynamite.
Yes.
And I know they're trying to give the Young Bucks like this edge and make them a little bit, not heel, but more, less face friendly. And I don't know. I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. It was just a basic, a 6 out of 10 match. It was all right, but it wasn't anything. And so, okay, you got the opening dentist battle that was a garbage. Might have been one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Yeah,
one of the worst fights, one of the worst matches, one of the worst whatever.
And Britt Baker can wrestle.
Right.
We know this.
Well, I've heard people say she sucks, but I don't.
Well, at least I've seen her put on some good matches in the past. Things that I would say, she could at least pull off.
She's much
7 out of 10s regularly.
They're better than this.
Yeah, much better.
They're better than what
we got.
We're making fun of it. It's really bad, but they are better. The good news is they're better than that. So whatever. The thing's stupid. The second match is blah. On to the next one because there's
second match. I know that the point that they were trying to put over was, all right, make Jungle Boy look very resilient and strong because obviously he gets hit. He doesn't kick. He kicks out. He doesn't succumb to the pinfall, and then they get the BTE trigger, and that's when he gets pinned. But they were trying to make him look as strong as possible, being able to kick out of things. So
the thing Swole say is weird. She says I don't know, man. She says weird shit. I mean, maybe I just don't get it. Have you heard her? Like, she's kind of like barks these like crazy things like out loud, like weird, like crazy things. Like, I don't know. It's like, but I kind of like it. So I'm not sure, but it just, for some reason, it's too serious for what's funny as hell. So it's like, it doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit. I know what you're. Yeah, I don't care for it.
I don't know what it is. Like, it's weird, whatever Swole is doing. And Britt Baker and her friend, whatever. We keep going back to the worst match. There's no reason.
It was so bad. I think we're just stunned.
Yeah,
that's really what it comes down to. Then we had the Casino Battle Royal. So this is for a future shot at the AEW Championship title. And the first batch was Trent, Christopher Daniels, Jake Hager, The Blade, and Ray Phoenix. The second batch was Kazarian, Hobbs, Chuck Taylor, Santana, and Ortiz. And at that point, no one had been eliminated. Then Hobbs eliminates The Blade. Hager eliminates Daniels. Next one was Billy Gunn, Pentagon Jr., Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Darby Allin. Darby came in with his skateboard and started clearing the house.
I like that when they were at this point. I was having fun with it, and Darby coming out was good. And probably about halfway
at this point,
through,
I wasn't invested, but I was like, all
Yeah.
right, let's see what they can do to try and elevate this. Then the fourth batch was Sean Spears, Kingston, The Butcher, Sonny Kiss, and Lance Archer. And I was like, I still wanted to see Eddie Kingston win this, and I was almost hopeful to the end, and then it didn't work out as such. But
instead,
they
it was
were
the
trying
joke.
to play up a snake bag with Jake, Roberts, obviously.
What about Darby? Didn't he get hurt too, or something? People were saying he was hurt.
Darby got put into the bag there.
I couldn't tell if that was.
Bag.
I couldn't tell if that was a work or not.
And I am not sure. It was weird the way they sold it.
Yeah.
You see all the thumbtacks go inside, and then they put Darby inside, and then Brian Cage power bombs him right on the ramp,
Right.
and that eliminates him. And then the referees check on him, and it seems like it's bad. So,
But
I'm not sure.
Could just be him selling the whole thing. So
I think it's the sell job. I don't think I think they were just trying to magnify how severe that stunt was supposed to be.
We had Matt Sydal appears, and he, comes in
Yeah,
like
Matt Sydal is the number 21. He's the Joker card, and
which is ridiculous because lucky person's going to draw the Joker card. Oh, it's the guy who's the mystery guest, or the mystery guy coming into the match is the guy who drew the Joker card.
Of course.
I mean, this is retarded. Like, are we fucking stupid?
Yeah.
Why not have like a Joker card and a mystery person? So we're having somebody who just signed here, guaranteed to get the last spot, and then also there'll be a Joker card. Why not do something like that? And instead, it's just, whatever. It's wrestling, but it's just so obvious. It's just ridiculously obvious. Like, it's not even a little bit like they could have had the mystery guest is showing up in the middle or whatever. So you're looking for that. And then the Joker card will be out last. And Matt Sydal was a downer to some people. They were like, huh? Really? We thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away with that surprise.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, but whatever. And he comes in with the fire, the big knee strike, and then he climbs the top rope, and then he fucking slips on the top rope and almost dies. And good on Hobbs, by the way. We landed next to. He tried to avoid landing on Hobbs, tried to put his arm out to stop himself from going down on his neck. And good on Hobbs to check on him. Rolled right into him, rolled over into him, like, oh, what are you, okay? Good job on Hobbs by actually, kind of protecting the business quite a bit, but also being like, well, fuck this, I'm checking on the guy. The camera crew should.
Yeah. The camera crew should cut away, especially when it's not one-on-one and there's so many other people you can cut to.
They did cut, but it took a second, but it's hard. It's hard, to
it is hard, but
to take
just
your
things you notice.
Yeah, in fact, your brain goes the other way. Instead of turning away, your brain wants to go, what? Like, it zooms in on it. So as a director, you got to be snappy, and technical director, you got to be snappy. So, but it ended up looking great because it didn't look good actually, but it ended up being okay because Hobbs was really discreet. But in the end, who cares? Check on the guy.
Exactly.
The referees,
we're all human. People know that.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, even if you fucking break the kayfabe and we already know it's all fake. So even if you break the kayfabe and Hobbs is like, hey, you okay? You could literally turn that into a story. Like later on, like it's like, yeah, I was in the match. I got my bell rung and I saw him up there and I thought he was going to come crashing down and nail me. And then I saw him fall. And at that point, even though, he was about to do damage to me, I thought maybe he broke his neck, so I rolled over to check on him because, I want to win this thing, but at the same time, I just saw that guy could have been paralyzed, so I wanted, At least maybe then I could yell at the referees, get him out. That's one less guy I got to deal with, and he can go to a hospital. But, and then Matt Sydal could have been like, well, fuck you. You don't got to check on me, and then they could have a little match on Dynamite. So all that stuff's nice, but unfortunately Matt Sydal was one of the most embarrassing. Like, people were bringing up Shockmaster. It's not that bad.
He's the new Shockmaster, but
it was,
it was pretty embarrassing.
But
it was a hell of a botch, that's for sure.
He was like a cat when a cat falls, and like, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. That didn't happen. That's exactly.
Just played her off.
Yeah, he crashed and burned, and then was like, whatever. Like, that doesn't happen.
At least they just kept going, but still. And then, I guess Lance Archer was the favorite to, going into this match. That does nothing for me, seeing him win. We already saw him lose to Cody for the TNT title. Now he's going to go and get his ass beat by Moxley.
Right.
I just don't believe in Archer at this point in time. Seeing him rough up random people in the back of the locker room while Jake talks cryptically does nothing to build him up as a a credible contender for the title. He needs big wins against people, and not just in a over-the-top battle royal. This doesn't make him look like a real badass. Jake had to help him by bringing out the snake that Kingston, they tried to sell, was afraid of.
Yeah, and it was... do you think there was never a snake in the bag, right?
No.
Right, that's what I thought.
At least I don't assume so. I would highly doubt it.
I kept thinking that. I was like, there's no snake in this bag. There's no way there's a snake in this bag. By the way, guys, I just got to say real quick, Corrupted Podcast is coming up in a little while. We got that. We got so much more to talk about. This show ran crazy late. I can't believe how late it ran. Leah, I thought you were going to record upstairs.
I can't.
Why?
Get out of the living room.
Really?
Yeah, she won't go to bed.
Why don't you grab the laptop and bring it over here? Bring it down here, because I'm almost done with this. We're doing the AEW review. Monica and Leah are going to record their podcast.
Too spooky.
Too Spooky 2? No, it's not Too Spooky, though. It's Oh, Jay Swiss just subbed on Twitch, man. Jay Swiss, thank you, dude. That is, let me check, because that's a lot of... Oh, it's 22 months. Holy shit.
Damn.
22 months in a row. I wonder if Arushin Chu ever resubbed, because he had a streak of 3 years going. He may have missed it. If he did, man, I feel bad I didn't tell him, because I feel like I didn't go live on Twitch for a while. What was match of the night, everybody in the chat? Give me your matches of the night in the chat. We are live in 2 different locations right now. Please hit the sub if you're new, and we're having a subscription party tonight. And tonight we are also having a Corrupted Podcast.
Fuck Matt the Misfit if he's mad. Where's Sanity? You missed on this one. I enjoyed the end ring, but the cinematic was a huge miss.
Yeah, just a mess, MWM too. What happened to D. Welsh? I thought he was going to call up. D. Welsh, we're on Discord, brother. If you want to call up D. Welsh. We're not on Skype yet, so just come on Discord if you wanted to say something about the show. And anybody else, feel free to pop into Discord. We'll try to get you on. Hey, look, it's Jacob, the guy that talks shit about me everywhere, but then comes into the chat like that everything's okay. That's funny, Jacob.
But nothing's happened.
You are kind of a funny idiot, dude. You talk some major shit about me the last week, but then you show up in my chat. You're really a fucking idiot. You realize that? Like, do you realize what kind of fucking loser you are, dude? I mean, really. Especially when you talk shit about me and I gave you back the other
I'm allowed
time.
to talk forever. I got a fucking dick. I'm not allowed to talk as long as everybody else. Fuck you, fucking cocksucker. Suck your own dick tonight. Dick.
Jesus.
Sheeta and Rosa match was fire. Private Party and Dark Order was so-so. The 8-way was okay. Sammy match against Matt Hardy was crazy. After match was great. Swell and Baker, smiley face, smiley face. Cassidy and Jericho was awesome, and Matt Sydal was all 7/10.
E-Murder. E-Murder. Yo, E-Murder just came in with the $50 bomb, yo. E-Murder dropping $50. Thank you, E-Murder. E-Murder, $50, man. Thank you, dude. Listen, I understand. I'm glad you were entertained. I really can't go that high with this. I got to be honest. I love the hell out of AEW. You know I do. I'm wearing my AEW shirt. But this was a mess, dude. It was a mess of a show. If you can condense those moments, it was all right.
Jim Ross is a legend. Yes, I grew up to him as you did, Joe, but as of now I feel I downloaded the app Calm and choose Jim Ross to listen to in bed. All Out highlights now on the Wrestle Daily and Botch Club. Joe Carey and Cross Cronin and Jake Big Daddy Cool DeMarco.
Botch Club,
Yeah, baby.
dude, you guys are going to have tons of clips to put up on Instagram. I mean, it's really...
Yeah, you guys are loaded. And never mind that, though, but look at all the attention Botch Club's getting on Instagram. If you haven't followed them on Instagram yet, make sure you do so. They got tons of great clips up there.
They're killing it. They got all the clips. They got all the clips, man. I'm giving it a... I'd be more around a 4 tonight, to be honest. We got a few more donations. We'll get to those in a few minutes. If you guys want to donate, the link is in the description box down below. E-Murder, I'm sorry, I got to kick Ryan Romano off. Ryan Romano was the top donation most of the night, but E-Murder has just booted you.
Took Ryan down.
He murdered him.
He murdered him.
He E-murdered him. Everybody... So where are we now in the review? Let's continue.
Now we are at Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara. We really covered that quite well because Hardy must leave AEW if he loses. So when he goes through the table, I mean, it starts in the Jaguars football stadium,
right?
You know, and he said, "Come face your deletion," and they start to beat the hell out of each other into trash cans. You get a big DDT onto a stadium table, and then they work their way up. I don't even know what you would call that, like a scaffolding.
Yeah,
lift?
Scaffolding. Yeah, that's what I call it. Oh, the lift. Yeah, I'd call it
the lift.
I'd call it a lift. Yeah.
And they went ahead and basically Sammy speared Matt off. They missed their intended target, and Matt crashed his head onto the floor, whether it was concrete or not. He was out. Aubrey lifted up his head, and he was unconscious.
Very scary. There were still a few people saying, "Oh, it's some kind of work or whatever." I did not think that at the time at all. I was like, "Oh my god, dude, he missed the table and just cracked his head on concrete." There's no way.
Yeah, I didn't think it was anything but unintentional, just a complete accident.
If that was a work, it's one of the greatest things you've ever witnessed. It's like
scissor lift. Thank you, Mitch.
Scissor lift. That's what my I had a lesbian live near me. She used to do that move on her friend.
The Scissor Sisters. I remember them.
I like that. I'm down with that. But yeah, that was scary. And
if it wasn't for that stipulation, I know they wouldn't have restarted the match. I'm telling you right now.
That's the other thing that makes you think that like anybody that thought it was a work. It's like if you're gonna work that, you would do like you do a broken match, but it would be like a Falls Count Anywhere hardcore match. You wouldn't do a last man standing stipulation because then that ruins then you're like, okay, but then how do you get out of that? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I understand the point of the match because you're deleting your opponent. He's not able to get up. Okay.
Right.
But the problem now is that, you know, like I like what you said earlier in the previous stream when we were still watching the pay-per-view, how they could have just gone ahead and said, well, Matt didn't, stay down for the count of 10. He's back up, but unfortunately, we can't legally allow them to continue. So that would have been better. I think people would, if anybody gets upset because they're more worried about the health of their star, then they suck, plain and simple. No argument. Their health and well-being and ability to fight another day should be their utmost importance. What would happen if Matt says, I'm fine, and he went back out there and had a massive stroke or got injured again and brain... I mean, there's so many possibilities. You don't know when it comes to head injuries. He might not be concussed, but he was out. So I'm saying more than likely he's got a bad concussion.
It's the way, though, that the crew came out to, like, stop Matt from competing almost immediately, and the way Aubrey threw up the X, like, immediately.
Yeah,
and then he's
Matt
walking.
has that old school mentality of finish the match at all costs. So
yeah, but that, like, I don't know. There's something I don't know, bro. There's something fishy about this. I can't put my finger on it.
I really don't think. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it was intentional, but Rebby's pissed, and it just seems like.
But are they waiting for the doctor? Also, I can't tell. But if you were gonna work something like this, why would you do this though? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why would you?
I don't think they would have a fake injury like that.
Right. Why would you then rush to the end of the match too? Like you wouldn't do a match.
Yeah, because
like
they didn't even
that.
hit each other really again. Like you got nothing till they climbed the big tower at the end, the big
And
scaffold.
they cut away from him too at a point, so it really felt like they were trying to separate them so they could explain like, no, he's got to be checked out, and we're gonna
yet
think
again-
about what to do. They cut to JR and everybody, so that it's very strange, but. And, Matt's just trying to stay in character and keep going like it's part of the deal.
And let's say he didn't get injured and the match worked out as it was intended to. Now, granted, we didn't get to see what else they had planned, but just saying he didn't get hurt and everything happened the way it was supposed to, it wasn't a great match. And I know they probably had more to go into, but just judging off of what we did get to see,
Yeah.
it wasn't great. And I know the injury really affects that, so there's always going to be an asterisk there. But unfortunately, that ending to me felt really uninspired as well. We've seen that before. We've seen everything in wrestling, I know, but that specific, the way he fell back, I mean, it was just, you're watching Shane McMahon all over again.
Yeah, you wouldn't. It was very. They
And I feel like they've done this quite
Yeah.
a bit lately, where they're trying to recreate things that they love. It seems like Tony or whoever is doing creative specifically is like, I love this as a kid, so I want to do this again. But they're not really putting their full own spin on it. It's just, it feels like they're doing AEW's version of Raw. Or
They totally
WWE.
ran to the back to the trainer room. They completely ran to the trainer room, had him quickly evaluated, and then he was like, we gotta finish the fucking end. We gotta do the end. Like the doctor said, okay, you don't look. The quick thing worked out. And then they went and did it. But yeah, he don't look right. I'm trying to find it because there's a few people swearing to me that it's a work. And I'm like, all right, I'm looking at it to try to give you something here, but so much of it doesn't add up. So it looks like the guy fucking looks like he's hurt. And that's all. It looks very bad. Like it looks like they just missed the table. They went down hard. And if you went through the tables, you would have been fine. You would have expected to go through the tables together almost on your side. And instead, you went flat back, but then not through the table at all. So it was so freaky.
Yeah, because Michael Sampson, the doctor there, definitely cleared him. I mean, they had to have cleared him to let him finish the rest of the match.
They dragged them back to the back room, cleared him, brought him back out there.
While JR is saying, his head bounced off the concrete.
Yeah, right. I mean, you saw it reminded me of Back to the Future when Marty gets hit by the car. It's a really cringy scene when he hits his back and you hear the clapping noise when he hits the cement. You're like, ooh, like in the first Back to the Future movie, or first one. It's kind of crazy. Yo, we got to bring on D. Welsh. What'd you think tonight, D. Welsh?
It was just really confusing all night long. It started with that cinematic, and it just went from there. That tag team match that followed, it really wasn't that great. But the Moxley and MJF, that was pretty good. And Thunder Rosa and Sheeta, I thought that was probably the best match of the night, honestly.
Yeah, I'd probably go. I think I want to go with Moxley and MJF as the best match of the night, and Thunder Rosa and Sheeta number 2. And I think Thunder Rosa and Sheeta could have been better if the women had been a little more intense at the middle end of their match, and the commentary wasn't crap. I felt like the commentary, like JR and the guys, like they didn't even want to call really. Like it felt like they were sleepy.
And JR just kept shitting on every single wrestler all night long. It was hilarious.
I got notes right here on JR, just some of the things he said. On Matt Cardona, he said something's missing in this guy, Matt Cardona, and if he finds out what it is, he could be a dangerous guy. But obviously he's a great athlete. He looks great, but there's just something missing.
Yeah,
JR said that about Cardona. I know what's missing. His name isn't Biff Raiden. Yes, Biff Raiden. If he came out and he goes, you know something, tonight Biff Raiden's going to entertain all the bitches in the crowd. Like, people would be like, fucking Biff Raiden? That's crazy. So, yeah, he's missing Biff Raiden. Then JR went on to say, Kenny Omega looks great. He looks great when he does these aerial movers, but, I mean, eventually you're going to crash and burn, and, They look very nice, and he kind of just started burying Kenny Omega's offense. Like, that was JR. JR did that tonight. It was really kind of incredible. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. There's lots of calls coming through. I just hung up on 718. My bad, man. 954's here, though. What's up, 954?
Wait, after Lance Archer won that match, do you think the main event kind of felt predictable?
I thought it was pretty predictable before that, so not really.
You can't really.
I feel like it really telegraphed it.
It did. You're right. It did add to the fucking, like, okay, But they were trying to make Lance Archer seem like a face. So if MJF had won, it wasn't that crazy because they had been starting to build Lance Archer like a face.
But did you think MJF wasn't ready for a world title yet?
Yeah, I don't think, I don't know. He's so good on the mic that if he had a title, it actually would be all right. I don't think Moxley should have it. I think that Jericho should still have the damn thing. And now Jericho's stock has been lowered. Moxley doesn't seem like the greatest champion. And MJF doesn't have the belt. And I got to be honest, everybody has been lowered. Everybody has been lowered down. And Cody Rhodes just lost the TNT title. So every single one of these guys' stocks have come down. And they had done a brilliant job of building up some of the guys. And it really feels like everybody's stock came down. Everybody that was a 7 or an 8 has moved down to a 6 or a 7 now or a 5. It's unfortunate that, that's the situation because it's not very good right now. But it's still better than WWE. But Moxley is... See, this would have been a good match tonight. I feel like Moxley and MJF, that should have been for the TNT title or in the mid-card of the night.
Yeah, that didn't feel like a main event belt.
And probably Jericho should have been wrestling somebody for the world title. And, Cody could have wrestled somebody. And without Cody and with Jericho in a mimosa match, I mean... Thankfully, the one thing was that the women had a good match. So that was the one thing was, the women had a good match. They had been sucking, but it feels like we traded the women for everything else. First, it was everybody else was doing well and the women sucked. Now the women have a good match and pretty much everything is blah. But MJF and Moxley did it. I liked their match. I liked the blood. I liked the use of things. Psychology, the story. There was a story there. You can't use the move. Oh, the referee's back's turned because... But why would Wardlow do that? It's so predictable there. But it was at least, even though it was predictable as shit and so, like, cliche, I guess, or whatever, to do what they did, it was nice because they executed everything right. So the match was good, and then they executed everything right. We got blood. And so you were just like, thank God. Like, a match went from the beginning to end with some semblance of a wrestling match. And it felt like one, and there was a belt on the line, and somebody bled, and the good guy won, I guess, and I don't know. So, like, I'd probably give that match best match of the night. I thought Orange Cassidy and Jericho was pretty entertaining, too. I may give that the third best match of the night, even though it was a little ridiculous. I'd probably say Moxley number 1, women number 2, Shida and Thunder Rosa number 2, and then probably Jericho and Orange Cassidy, I guess. And then the tag match, maybe. The tag match was pretty good, too, but it was just fucking crazy. Just fucking all over. Like, knock him out, bang, knock him, slap him, they knock down. And then Kenny Omega sells a leg injury. He can't move on his bad leg. And then literally I see him storm out of the fucking arena. Not hobbling. That guy should have left in a fucking wheelchair.
Should have.
I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous.
One of the things we haven't discussed...
Hey, cover me real quick. I got to fix Leah's microphone for our podcast.
Alrighty. One of the things that I wanted to discuss, too, is that I guess it's Lana's fault, I find funny enough, but WWE is making it so that YouTube stars can never take part in... Or, excuse me, WWE stars can't take part in third-party deals like YouTube, Twitch, Cameo. I guess YouTube seems to be okay, but then again, it's not. It's I don't know. It's a little bit confusing. Some people say that YouTube is fine for the stars. Other people say it'll be an issue or it is an issue. But still, Twitch, Cameo, things like that. And apparently it's Lana's fault. According to Dave Meltzer, Lana is the straw that broke the camel's back because she's been doing Bang energy drink commercials. And then Mustafa Ali did a commercial for Manscaping. So them doing these commercials was too much, and it turned into an issue. And now everybody's paying the price. So I can understand them being upset over talent going and getting sponsorships of their own and promoting things in that sense that the company didn't clear. But having your own Cameo account or Twitch account, I don't feel like should be an issue. What about you, Welsh? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And speaking of that, did you see Kip Sabian's shot at WWE tonight with his index card?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting into. See, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that was great. I hate that stuff. You're having a bad night as is. You're talking about how now you two are going to get married. So, okay, you've got this big announcement, and Penelope Ford and you are getting married, and they're going to have a wedding on Dynamite. Fantastic. Wrestling weddings are just top notch every time. Everybody always wants to see a wrestling wedding. And then he goes and he says, oh, follow me, twitch.tv/thekipsabian. There's his plug. And at the bottom, it says this message is approved by AEW, or this message has been approved by All Elite Wrestling. And I know they're just taking a shot at WWE every chance they get, but I hate it. Focus on your own stuff. Focus on your show. Don't worry about what WWE is doing, while you're live.
Right.
I understand. It just it looks so petty to me. I can't stand those things.
Yeah. It could probably focus on what they're doing for the show and what Kip Sabian and his wife focus on their upcoming wedding. And he didn't really need to do that. And I can understand them getting their own sponsors and kind of throwing themselves kind of in the deep water, but that's definitely understandable. But I can understand why they want to do that, because they're trying to make a living for themselves besides WWE. But yeah, that's a if I was.
I mean, WWE is saying that we're comparing ourselves to Disney and Warner Brothers. That's why this ban is okay, but they said WWE creates, promotes, and invests in its own intellectual properties, the name of performers and things like that. So I get what they're doing. They're making the stars, and then these people are going out but I don't know. I don't think that at least Twitch and YouTube shouldn't be included.
Yeah, I don't think they should be included either, because they're doing it on their own free time when they're not wrestling, when they're not having matches, and they're before the show, after the show. So they're kind of doing their own thing, and they shouldn't be punished for trying to enjoy some time away from matches, away from the ring, at home, even if they're at the arena but not doing anything. They should at least be able to get on Twitch and be able to, have a little bit of fun,
Well, that and connect with fans and,
Right.
I mean, stuff like that. So, also, we learned tonight the AEW Full Gear will take place on November 7th. So we don't know of a location yet. They probably don't know where it's going to be either. Most likely it'll be Daly's place unless something changes drastically before then. But we also did hear Matt Hardy is, as I mentioned earlier a little bit ago, is at a medical facility. AEW would call it a hospital. So he's at the hospital. Hopefully we get an update for that. Rebby is allegedly furious.
She is livid.
Can't blame her, though. I mean,
No.
accidents happen. We know that. But I really can't help but feel like they should have stopped the match. And then we also, Joe was right. A fan did try and tackle or go towards Jon Moxley during his entrance for the main event. And security had to make sure that one fan didn't get too close. I don't know if they removed him or not, but it was funny. Joe did catch that. I missed it, but they pounced on this fan.
It was kind of funny. The fan came towards him, and then the security pounced on him, and then Moxley kind of turned around and walked back towards him. And was like,
yeah, and just looked at him.
What are you doing?
He's like, you're an idiot. But at least security grabbed the guy right away, thankfully.
Right.
Oh, that was funny. So let's see. Then we had We talked about Sheeta's and Thunder Rosa's match. You know, they did a really good job. 17 minutes. They certainly gave them a lot of time. This match, everyone was really looking forward to. I feel like they delivered. They worked really hard. They put their best foot forward. It made the women's division look better. It still wasn't as exciting as I hoped it was going to be, but it was better than everything else had been on the card so far. So maybe we'll see Thunder Rosa, you know, come back to AEW soon enough. I certainly think she adds a lot to the division. Excuse me. Next up, following that,
Well,
go ahead.
Corgan from NWA has said that Thunder Rosa can wrestle in AEW anytime she wants, but I think it's a good deal, a small partnership there. She can wrestle in AEW when she feels like it, as long as she reports back to NWA when she needs to be back.
Yeah,
and,
as long as she's
and have
loyal
that
to
kind
them.
of open communication, right?
Yeah, that's a great, you know, deal to have, that you're able to work elsewhere so long as you're loyal to the company that's paying you. That's fine, you know. So she's the women's champ there, and I imagine she'll be sticking around with NWA for a while. They're going to start filming again in a couple weeks, so that'll be good. Following the women's match, we went ahead, and that's when we got the Twitch thing with Kip Sabian. And then we had the Dark Order. So it was Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson. They went ahead and took on the team of the Natural Nightmares, Matt Cardona, Biff Raiden, and Scorpio Sky. Not a great match. And I'm completely blown away and just totally baffled that the Dark Order lost again. That's the TNT champion. I understand that, you know, he pinned Colt Cabana, and now they're going to go and tell the story that Dustin's going after Brody Lee here for revenge, but I feel like they still could have told that story while making the Dark Order look strong still and get another solid victory. They're getting beat all the time and time again. What's the point?
Yeah,
You know?
especially after Brody just won the TNT title, and you're thinking, oh, maybe finally Dark Order finally has some serious shit that they're gonna deal out with the entire roster, and then they come out tonight, they lose their first match, and you're like, okay, maybe they'll win the second match, and then they go that 8-man tag, and once again they just absolutely fail.
Yeah, absolutely. And from how I read it in the wording, Matt, it says that all WWE talent are, you know, subsequent to follow the new orders for Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. And like I said, from one of the readings, it looks like YouTube's okay, but need better clarification. And then after the match as well, they went ahead, and Excalibur was, you know, going on about how Colt Cabana, he could have pinned Dustin there. He could have pinned Dustin Rhodes, but he wanted to, you know, be greedy, go for one more move, and he shouldn't have done that. And I get the story they're going for. Maybe they're going to punish Colt Cabana now and actually let him see the dark side of the Dark Order.
Right.
But all in all, I don't know. I just felt like this didn't fit. It felt like a regular match that should have just happened at Dynamite or even the pre-show. It wasn't like it was a bad match at all. There was just no interest here. I didn't have any motivation to give a damn. I wanted to care, but how did you feel about this match, Welsh?
Kind of let down for having Dark Order lose yet once again. You just had Brody Lee win the TNT Championship. Finally, you put some seriousness in the Dark Order, and it kind of put some oomph into that team, into that stable, and saying, oh shit, good shit's about to happen. And then all of a sudden tonight, it just fell flat. And what they could have done was they could have had Dark Order win tonight, and then have Dustin either attack Brody after the match, or even come up on Dynamite on Wednesday, have Dustin attack Brody Lee, you know, sometime during the show,
Exactly.
saying, hey, you know, Dustin's, you know, coming back for redemption.
And they could have achieved the same thing. Yep. It could have worked fine. And they still could have told this story with, you know, Colt Cabana by doing something as simple as he could win the match, but then he goes for one more move, and that's when Brody Lee tags himself in to get the job done.
Right.
You could still get there without having to make your team look just completely destroyed and weak in the process.
And now on Wednesday for Dynamite, now we're getting Dustin versus Brody Lee for the TNT Championship.
Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a decent match, but it's pretty obvious that Brody Lee will walk away victorious. And yeah, I'm looking for further clarification, Same thing Matt had said. But
Yeah.
I am, curious to see what happens with YouTube, like, because they a few other places and YouTube channels and stuff mentioned like up, down, down. What are they going to do? And they're intertwined with WWE stuff as well. They're signed to WWE because they do stuff with the network, and WWE has some ownership of that. I know, but some way, shape, or form. So I don't know. That's why I heard later on today that YouTube was fine, and then I heard that it wasn't. So a lot of misinformation out there, but still, WWE has a problem with third-party, agreements in their roster, their talent. So not a good situation for the Stars. Then after that, we had the Kenny Omega Hangman Page match against FTR for the tag titles. I don't know. It got better as it went on. The ending was okay, but I had it worked out in my mind. I mean, it was a 30-minute match. They had a 60-minute time limit, but it was a 30-minute match, and I'm like, it felt so long. It really dragged for a long time. Had they cut out 10 minutes, probably, I feel like this would have been much more effective and been that much better of a match. Did you like the match?
I thought it was okay, but I also felt like it dragged on a little bit too long. It could have been cut down to about 22, 21 minutes instead of 30 for a 60-minute time limit. I think they could have gone somewhere between 20 and 23 minutes to cut down that time limit. I think it would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, especially with it being a long night. But as Joe pointed out too, Kenny not selling the leg afterwards is absolutely hilarious. I mean,
yeah, it was
that made, and it wouldn't be like, if it wasn't so poignant in the match, if it wasn't so overstated that the leg is what caused them to lose the titles, essentially, I mean, there was much more that happened up to that point, V triggering his own partner included, but still, Kenny being unable to break the pin was the final nail in the tag team's coffin. So for him not to continue to sell the limp, it was just,
it made zero sense.
And I was looking forward to this match, but and many have said it's too long. When you overstay your welcome, it just ruins the quality, I feel. And maybe if we had, like I said to begin with, if tonight had more fans, all in all, that might have helped build up some more of that energy that the crowd brings.
Right.
But I'm not sure that would have made it as much of a difference as I would have liked to have thought.
I definitely agree with you on that, Jake.
Then we had the Mimosa Mayhem match, and I feel like they shit the bed with this because Jericho is their top star, and it brings him down. It does. It ruins his overall appeal to me. Having him lose, he shouldn't be losing at all, ever. And if he does, it should be extremely, extremely important. And it made sense when he lost to Cassidy in their second match. It couldn't be done. It could never happen. Oh my God, what a shocking victory. And it was, so much of a story being told. But with this, yeah, he gets his revenge, but he still could have thrown him into the Mimosa at the end. And I feel like gotten, the same effect. Jericho pins him, but gets embarrassed. I think that would have served Jericho so much better. It just felt very blah, sadly. And unfortunately, they spent a lot of time teasing around the Mimosa that we didn't have much of a match, I felt like, either. So for 15 minutes, 6 of it felt like it was just teetering near the pools.
Yeah, it felt very much like both superstars were both on the outside ropes for much of that 15 minutes. Jericho multiple times. I think Orange Cassidy once or twice or even 3 times on the outside were teetering. And it just felt very uneasy, and you can't have Jericho lose every single time. He is your biggest attraction. He is your biggest star. I mean, besides the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and everyone else, but Jericho is your biggest star. can't be having him lose every single pay-per-view match. It brings down his, his attraction as a star.
Exactly. So thankfully we had a strong main event. We had a really solid main event. It wasn't as hyped as I thought it would be, but it was still, compared to the rest of this night, thoroughly enjoyable. So, or at least enjoyable, not thoroughly, but it was enjoyable. I was interested with the fact that MJF got busted open. I think it was a blade job. Joe wasn't so sure, but it looked like when he went into the corner post there, pretty much earlier on in the match, only a few minutes in, when Moxley springboarded MJF into the corner post on the outside, it looks like that would be when he bladed to sell the color job. But I like the story that they told. It was very predictable, but that was what they set themselves up. You knew that he was going to hit the paradigm shift while the referee was distracted. That's the clear, obvious answer here. So now MJF can say, hey, you cheated to win. You technically are disqualified, and I'm the rightful world champion. So we'll see the feud not quite finished with these two yet, and it'll build into Lance Archer. And I'm not so sure. I mean, it seems like they were doing a face thing with Archer, but then again, it could just be with who he was facing, recently, being that he's taking on Taz's group and Kingston's new stable, even though they're not calling it a stable, that he just looks like more of a good guy, comparatively speaking. But I'm not so sold on him turning face yet.
Yeah, I'm not too convinced yet either, and I'm not sure how that's going to turn out with Archer and Moxley. Hopefully, maybe it'll turn into something positive and enjoyable for us wrestling fans. And
I'm absolutely hoping so. Absolutely hoping so.
I just feel that Moxley has just run his ground with that championship. It feels like he's gotten stale, and it kind of has very, very little feeling like it did with Jericho when he was champion. Jericho made that championship feel so much more important.
Yeah, absolutely. Jericho made it feel larger than life and like he was a true star. And I wasn't sold on Jericho initially either. I thought he was going to be the bad choice. How wrong was I? I was, God, so far off. I figured Hangman Page initially would have been the better choice because Jericho, I didn't envision him taking this super seriously. I knew he was going to be there and be helpful, but you figure he still had so many obligations with things like Fozzy and his books and his podcast. I just couldn't envision him going as full force as he has been with the wrestling company. But thankfully, he's been around to really help build things and try and make it feel, at least like there's some star power there. But they really need to work on elevating some of their talent and making them into the bigger stars. And that's so hard for them to do right now. I get that with the pandemic and the coronavirus and the lack of people being around in the audience. It's difficult to generate any type of reaction when you barely have people there to react. At least you have some small section of an audience, thankfully. But having the extra 5% did make a little bit of a difference tonight, but only at certain times. Did you notice the crowd any bit louder, or?
I felt like one of the times they were really loud was when Jericho came out to his entrance.
Yeah, Jericho.
The camera kind of panned back towards the crowd, and it kind of got that little bit extra audio of them singing Judas a little bit, and it made it sound nice on camera because it gave that small effect of making this fans seem like they were loud, which they weren't 100% loud all night. But it just felt like that one small instant where the camera panned back to that crowd, and they kind of got into it with Jericho, and when he came out. So I think that was one instant.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but we'll see what happens. I'm trying to see if there's any other updates on Matt Hardy. I don't see anything posted yet. Last I saw is that he was taken to the hospital, and we're waiting to see what happens past that, but hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's not badly concussed or injured. Poor guy has been through enough.
Rebby's tweet from 2 hours ago was just outright gold.
Yeah, she was not a happy camper.
Let me absolutely be fucking clear. There is nothing entertaining about a concussion. Shame on everyone in that goddamn building.
I can see why she's so mad. I mean, thankfully he was able to finish the match and not suffer any further injury. At least that we can tell. But as we said, when he hit the pavement, the match was called off, and then there was a really awkward moment on commentary before they knew what was going on, and then they restarted the match. And otherwise, why even have a doctor? Alvarez said, but yeah, why? I don't know why Matt was able to allow himself to restart. So
yeah, it should have been stopped, and especially with Matt's head kind of bouncing off the ground there, and you could tell that he was kind of concussed. But I guess with Aubrey restarting the match, it was, you knew Matt's not leaving.
Yeah, exactly. Brian Alvarez, as you said, he's on the way to the hospital, and then he said he was knocked unconscious. He was not okay because the fan had said, if the doctor let it go on, I'll assume he's okay. We're not doctors. And he said, bro, he was unconscious. He's not okay. And it was Matt who insisted the match continue. And that's, as I said a minute ago, Brian Alvarez said, the decision whether or not to continue is not in the hands of the competitor. Otherwise, why even bother having a doctor? And how in God's name did Doc Samson allow that to continue? Seriously. I agree entirely. Shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, shouldn't have happened at all.
I don't see any other updates here, but all in all, tonight I would probably give this pay-per-view. I want to say a 5.
I was gonna be right there with you. I said 5, and for that Thunder Rosa match with Shida and that MJF Moxley ending with all the blood, I bumped it up to about a 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, that makes sense, going up a half point, because I was at about a 4.5. So we'll see what happens going forward with this. But chat, what was your favorite moment of the night, and what do you guys give it out of 10? Let me know. I know Joe will be back in a few minutes. He's getting ready for the Corrupted podcast tonight on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. That's right. You can go ahead and become a Patreon for all at least 30 hours of bonus extra content. I mean, there's so much stuff, hundreds and hundreds of hours of podcasts on there, thousands of episodes, tons of stuff you don't want to miss out. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Be sure to check it out. KOTR says 2 out of 10. Gallows 3 out of 10. Wow. So AJ says 6 out of 10. Bam's at a 3.5. AEW says 7. Mox match was the only good part, Gallows says. That was my definite favorite match of the night, but Jason gives it a 4. Keith says, I thought it was a 6 because Moxley retained, which most didn't think would happen. So, yeah, we predicted it, but I'm with you there. KOTR says, worst pay-per-view. Yeah, in their existence, I'll agree. Bugaloo, what's going on? Hail Meta Forever gave it a 7 out of 10. Adam says I like the Bucks versus Jurassic. So
I thought that was kind of flat because I felt like the Young Bucks didn't perform up to what they're normally performing at. I just felt like they kind of showed a little bit of a heelish side, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it just seems like a Dynamite match to me, honestly. That's exactly what it felt like. ADTR gave it a 6 out of 10. Beard Gang 3 out of 10. Pocket Aces 4 at best. I would want a refund, said Sandman. RJ 2, J-Rod 5. Lewis didn't watch out of 10, so I guess you can go back and just watch the highlights. Jared gave it a 6. Kid 420 3 out of 10. The show was poop. A lot of lower scores. Wow, I'm actually genuinely surprised. I thought I was being harsh on tonight, but I guess not. I was excited for the show. I did genuinely want to like what we were given, but the build-up, it just felt like they went a bit too long with it. As I kept saying, the cake they baked, they burnt. And then from there, it just seemed to, just not be the best foot forward for them tonight. Adam says the Jungle Boy kicking out of 2 super kicks was dumb. Though, let's be real. Well, they were trying to, I not that I disagree with you, but they were trying to get him over to make him look resilient and strong. And I don't know if it worked, but we'll see. JR's drunken slur out of 10. Yeah, Big G's right. I mean,
Good Christ.
It was a
Shoot me in the
nightmare
head.
with JR at times. I swear, we were making a joke earlier because he was drinking the Rock's liquor on Twitter before, doing a few
Right.
shots of it. And I said, you know what? He's drunk. That's all there is to it. And then people told me about him drinking the Rock's liquor. And I was like, oh, I guess it is true because he was just a slurry madman tonight. on commentary.
Dude.
Yeah,
he was drunk.
He was awful, and Excalibur was even more trash.
They really were all bad tonight. And by the way, I couldn't even figure out what the fuck was wrong with Leah's thing. Leah and Monica trying to record. All that time I was gone, I couldn't even figure it out. Like it was.
That sucks.
It was awful. Guys, come over to the other version of the stream right now. We are going to end the faux stream. So come on over to the main stream right now. Come join us. And we're going to be live for Corrupted Podcast in just a few minutes, guys. So come on over to Patreon for Corrupted Podcast. Don't miss that because, good God, man, I've been running around like a maniac. I can't even. I'm not even going to get a break. I thought I was going to get a break.
No, you're not.
Jade captaining the ship. Yeah, I couldn't figure that out, dude. I can't believe it. Her headset's not picking up Monica's input. So it's recording Leah talking, but not recording Monica, and she doesn't have a mixer. And I don't know why, but I can't get the sound to record. It's fucking crazy.
That's infuriating. I hate it when stuff like that happens.
Oh, my God, dude. Yeah, Excalibur was a mess. I mean, the commentary was was all bad tonight.
It really was. I mean, JR works better with Taz.
And Taz was only on for maybe 10 minutes at most.
He wasn't there long.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a little bit longer than that, but not that long. So, unfortunately, tonight left a lot to be desired. I had given it a 5 out of 10. What did you give it, Joe?
5. Maybe. I sometimes I want to give it a little more. Sometimes I want to give it a little less. But I'll just give it a 5 out of 10. Safe. 5 out of 10. Like, some stuff was nice. I was entertained, though. Like, so it's weird, like, because I don't want to, like, I was pretty entertained, but it was like, it was all like watching a car wreck, most of it. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, what is this? I just kept saying that. What is this? What's going on? What the fuck is happening? So
yeah, especially in the first about half hour to 45 minutes, I was like, what are we watching?
Yeah, the first half of the show was like, a dumpster fire.
Especially the way the Britt Baker match set the tone for the night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the show gets an extra point if they take that match off, honestly.
It was so bad, dude. And you're like, okay, wow. Like, and those people probably like, oh, the show's starting. And then they have to watch that on the screen or whatever. Oh my God, it was really bad. I mean, I'm probably going to do another review of this tomorrow or during the week because there's going to be these things that pop in my head about this show tonight that, I mean, the good news is it felt like it was getting better as it went on, I guess. And, I liked MJF and Moxley, and I think I'm going to watch that match again, to be honest.
I think it was getting better as it went on, but it was just so long.
Yeah.
It became tedious.
And it was dragging then. It was...
You got 4 hours and 50 minutes of AEW tonight. I mean, that's a long time to sit through.
I couldn't believe they ended this.
Hell yeah!
Not even Thunder Rosa could save this show, but you guys noticed that Jericho tried to save it.
Did he try to save it?
He always puts his, best effort into things, so that's not a surprise. Jericho tries.
I thought Orange Cassidy and Jericho was fun. It just like I thought it would be. It was basically what I thought. It was going to be kind of fun and silly.
It was silly. Like I just the outcome depressed me so much that it just ruined it.
Give it a hell yeah!
This show is no higher than a 5, and a show is bad when the top AU streamers say it a bad show. I'm listening to the review cause I'm at work.
Thank you, Freddie Mitchell. 27 Freddie Mitchell, baby. Yeah, I love AEW. I'm sitting here with my AEW shirt on. I'm having I might have a goddamn mimosa, for God's sake. Oh, was that ringing the whole time I was gone? I didn't realize I left that on.
Actually, it wasn't.
Oh, good. Wow, you guys are lucky. Unknown caller, what's up?
Here we go. I'm about to get it, man. Here we go.
I'm like at a 3 with this show, dude.
Here we go. Here we go.
Right.
I'm just like,
Nicole Simpson was in Jake Roberts' bag and Seidel was high of synthetic weed during the Battle Royal.
Since these guys have been on, so it's kind of enough time for some people to really get over. And I'm sitting there looking at, like, the champ is Moxley. He's had a year to, before he was complaining about it being held back and this and that and whatever. Now he's like, he gets to do pretty much everything the way he wants to do it and blah, blah, blah. And really, do you care any more about him than you did in the other company?
He's really not that different.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, I'm like, am I hating, or is this dude really just mayonnaise? I'm like, I really don't care. I'm like, this is the world champion of this company.
He kind
This
of
is supposed to be the upper echelon dude that I'm supposed to look at,
right.
and I'm supposed to be able to call my friends and be like, yo, you got to turn on AEW. This guy, John Moxley, man. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
he's very, he's like he was in that Stone Cold interview, man. It's like he's high and that's all. He's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, I'm going to show up and fuck you up, I guess. Like, and it's like, cool, but like, what else is there to you besides being cool, I guess?
Yeah, and what's crazy is I'm really, like, as I watch this show, and I want all these companies to do well because, the better they all do, then you got more wrestlers and more places to go, what have you. So I don't really care about one over the other.
Right.
But what I do notice is, even for some reason, I actually enjoy the atmosphere more with the fucking television monitors and the piped-in sound for the fucking Thunderdome than I did this shit today, because it was... like, I understand they can't have all the fans there or whatever. So then it's kind of almost like you have to step it up more with the actual, the in-ring shit. And between I don't know, they were just like,
that I
don't know.
I don't know if I agree with that, because I feel like the WWE stage, I like it. It's okay. It's better than it was where they were a couple weeks ago, but with the Thunderdome, it's better. But I I still like the outdoor crowd because... it's I don't know, I just feel like it's a live atmosphere, anything can happen. It feels more controlled in WWE. But, it's kind of both things. Sometimes one works out, the other one doesn't, and that's part of how this is going, man. I appreciate the call. That's the guy who always hates on AEW, by the way, and loves WWE.
Hey, well.
Let's go to one more.
In the majority tonight.
Let's take another call. 407, hello. Oh, they hung up. All right, let's go back to the donos, because donos been waiting. Sorry I was gone, everybody.
Super chat.
Jake, I was listening to Jake on my phone, though.
This show was he'd rather go back and watch the Extreme Elimination Chamber from WWE ECW December to Dismember and watch Big Daddy versus Moobs flop out of 10.
It felt like we were watching
Bobby Lashley win that again.
Oh yeah, please no. It felt like we were watching Triple Mania or WrestleMania 2. I wonder if Tony Khan is going to tweet out that we kicked the crap out of whatever. Like, hey, we kicked the crap out of SummerSlam tonight. Because, I don't know, bro. This pay-per-view
is tweeting like a madman.
So I'm not sure if you saw, Joe, but last night AEW was re-showing Dynamite on TNT.
Yeah.
So honestly, someone said AEW is going to beat NXT again in the ratings.
Yeah, compare their double up the ratings. The Rose Gaming says, hey, Joe and Jake, 6.5 out of 10. Hope Matt is okay. All Out second half was better than the first half. Yeah, the first half was a dumpster fire tonight. The Rose Gaming, thank you.
Absolutely. Trash. Thank you, Rose.
It did get better, but it was pretty much a dumpster fire. Jericho's live. Let me see what Jericho's saying. Unavailable. Can't be embedded. Okay. Ryan Satin update. Tony Khan, Matt Hardy. Tony says health and safety performance is always most important. Shit bomb. Okay, Ryan Satan.
What do I think of this show? I think JD shouldn't be trolling his fan base for underaged pussy.
Oh
my God. MJF on Twitter said, fuck Wardlow. My bad. Not like I was in a brutal war or anything. Actually, fuck all of you. He's so good. That's the thing. I don't see him as champ yet. A few years, he'd be one of the best champions there is in the company. But he's so young. Give him a little more time.
Man, Rebby Hardy must be just ready to kill people right now. Like, I can only imagine.
She's amped up to begin with.
Give it a hell yeah!
Right.
Trying to find the video of Kurt Angle training Mike Tyson was more entertaining than this show.
Oh my God.
I like how Lana tweeted saying that she's not the straw that broke the camel's back. And thank you for writing about me. All of you. I'm your scapegoat. Instead of she wrote a scapegoat instead of scapegoat, but whatever. But I was saying that before. Yeah, it's definitely. How did you feel about them mocking them and with the Twitch?
I just thought.
What else we got?
I just thought.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
What a joke!
Want
You
some
suck
bubbly?
tonight.
Look
You
at
know?
this stuff. Oh,
focus on your
a
own
little
shit.
bit of the bubbly.
That's it.
MJF versus Moxley was good, but the finish was dumb.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb. Metal Forever. The match was good, but the finish kind of was kind of like okay.
Well,
But
we
no-
kind of called the paradigm shift would happen behind the referee's back all week on.
Yeah, and but going back to that other question, how I feel is the same way I felt about WWE with that fucking idiot plugging his Twitch with his girl or whatever and plugging his Twitch. He was really plugging his Twitch.
Yeah, Kip Sabian. Yeah.
Yeah, Kip Sabian was really plugging his Twitch.
Well, they were doing it just to be like, fuck you, WWE. That's why AEW, it said, brought to you by AEW at the bottom. That kind of shit. So,
But
Tony Khan did put out a statement a few minutes ago, about 30 minutes ago, about Matt Hardy. He says, health and safety of performers is always the most important thing to AEW. It looks like Matt is okay at this point. Tony says he stopped the match after Matt took the fall. So Tony stopped the match and then sent the doctor to check on him. Tony says that he was concerned Matt may be hurt, so he had them ring the bell. Then the doctor checked on Matt and cleared him. Says the doctor was not pressured into clearing Matt. And Tony says Matt Hardy came back after the match and passed concussion protocol, and that the trip to the hospital was done as a precaution. It's not something any of us enjoyed, Tony said.
I bet, yeah. Well,
at least he passed the concussion protocol, and he's doing okay. He's just being checked out at the hospital.
But again,
just
like
because.
in NFL, you're gone for like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
In-
there was
in
no way
hockey.
they had a chance to check him during the match. After, I believe it, but during.
Well,
he
I
definitely
think
was
they
like, "I gotta
did
get
check
back
him.
out there."
They did check him during the match because if you have a severe,
There's no way they could do a full.
you're right, full evaluation,
check.
no way.
Full evaluation, yeah, no way.
Basic, okay, your eyes are focusing the right way. You know where you are. You know this. Let me feel your skull. Your skull isn't cracked. You're not. But I mean, within 15 minutes, you can start developing like throw up, like all those things. So it wasn't done. There's no way that was done right. In hockey, if you get hit, you go to the back. Like it takes time to evaluate. That was very quick.
Yeah, it was very quick.
But they did something. They did evaluate him, and they figured, I don't know. And he's at the hospital for whatever. He's probably getting a CT scan. So, in fact, he's definitely getting a CT scan. But it was a bit of everything was a mess tonight for them.
Super chat.
Could be worse. Somebody could have fallen from the fucking ceiling or something.
They should hire Jim Cornette as head writer.
Hail Metal Forever. I saw that throughout their whole YouTube pre-show earlier. People were just spamming Cornette and shit. I feel like they are gonna fucking hire the guy. Should have hired him
After
as a
they
heel.
banned him from not watching the show anymore.
Well, they should have hired him as a heel because it'd be funny. Because
He would have been good as the Revival's manager.
Mm.
And that would have made a great deal of sense. He's really high on both, FTRs.
Yeah, it would have been better because he's so friends with them and everything. And Tully's a great idea though too. It's not.
Oh, Tully's not a bad idea, but I think Cornette, knowing all the bad history that he has with the Young Bucks and Kenny Olivier and all that shit, I think knowing that, it really would have added a whole nother dimension to that.
Dimension. Did you say dimension? I'm sorry. Okay. Is there anything else? Well, let's let the donations play, and then we'll get to is there anything else we need to cover? Tarr, thank you for subscribing again to me on Twitch, man. Some people are giving their subscriptions again. Thank you guys so much for that. I'm currently also setting up the Corrupted podcast link, so the people wondering, hey, what's up with Corrupted? We're coming, man. I'm sorry. AEW is so late. We are going to be starting Corrupted soon on Patreon, so get on over there. And
I just want to give a quick shout out to Edsview. He threw me a free streaming link for AEW tonight, so I didn't have to pay that ridiculous $50. So Edsview, thanks, dude.
Party.
Shout out to Edsview, baby.
What about up, down, Jake?
Oh, there.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we're not sure about. It seems like YouTube's going to be okay, but up, down. They have some deal with WWE anyway, so I imagine they'd be fine. But because they produce content for WWE as well, and WWE lets them use their talent. So
okay, so they're going to be okay.
Yeah, from the more I read into it, it looks like YouTube is going to be okay. It's just third-party advertisements, and that includes Twitch,
like Cameo,
Twitch, taking any type like Lana was doing the Bang energy drink commercial, and people are doing things for other sponsors. That's what WWE doesn't want.
Huh.
I can understand them not wanting to go and have you do commercials with other companies.
Yeah.
Vince is also now trying to lock down every one given name to so they can't use it outside the company, and people are also blaming AJ Styles because he can't keep his mouth shut lol, and I've been told you guys about them were talent can wrestler isleware.
Right. Yeah,
yeah, because AJ talking about his corona being positive as well. I'm sure that ruffled a few feathers because AJ keeps saying things on his Twitch stream. WWE.
Yeah, he keeps
Joe, you
fucking
are
with him.
live on Botch Club and in the first free contest.
Wow.
For best caption for your video, show it on here. It's you versus your teddy bear.
Nice, baby. Botch Club.
Hell yeah.
Botch Club's put me up on the Instagram. It's always fun to watch me in a teddy bear match. A good old teddy bear match over at Botch Club. I like it. I will get that up here in 1 second here, Botch Club. Thank you, man.
I'm about to get it, man.
Thank you.
Here we go. About to get it, man. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh!
Here comes BDW Chopping Screw.
Sammy thought Matt Hardy was Sasha Banks. Pound it in there.
Oh, my God.
That's great.
Holy shit, BDW. That's funny, man. What's up? I hope he's all right. But, yeah, what a crazy night. Thank you very much, my friend.
Yeah, I was right there with you, Joe.
Yeah.
I gave time about a 5.5.
Yeah. Unfortunately for them, man, it's the worst pay-per-view, I think.
Oh, definitely the lowest pay-per-view they've had yet.
Just incredible.
Nothing compared to anything that they've had. At least the other ones are memorable and have had some like star-making magic moment. But
well, we got to figure out where Junebug is.
Super Chat Party.
Wanna give Rosa some thunder down under. ... With Marcock.
Thunder Rosa. Thank you, Spaz Phoenix. Well, guys, I mean, final thoughts, because I got to get over to Corrupted Podcast. It's going down live on my Patreon in just a few minutes. We got Jesse in the house. I'm here, and I think we're supposed to have Rose and Junebug, but I'm not sure if they're out there. Man, I put the bat
Dave
signal
Rose was
on.
in the chat before. So
Okay, so Rose is ready to go. Junebug is here.
Rose is ready. I just talked to him.
All right, everybody's
baby.
here. So we're ready to go, man. Corrupted's going down right now, so get over to Patreon if you haven't get to Patreon. But final thoughts, Jake, I guess?
I'd give it a 5, definitely, and I only wish that it was a better night, sadly.
Yeah, I agree. It was
left a lot to be desired.
A car fire, dude. It was such
Yeah,
a
this was the
weird
dumpster
show.
fire, and we got to bask in it.
We basked in the AEW dumpster fire tonight, man. A bad Dynamite, and then a not good All Out. I can't believe it. I mean, people put an effort out there, and it's something. It's not the worst thing, but it really was not quite the standard that we're used to from them. Let me get Spaz Phoenix real quick. Spaz, I hate to do it, man. I only got... Oh, he hung up, but all right. Well, sorry. Spaz, you got to hit me up later. We're going to do a podcast together or something. There's so much more to talk about, man, that we didn't hit on. Let me get to the Botch Club thing here, too, real quick. Botch Club.
I got to get out of here so
Instagram.
people can get to sleep finally, but I will catch you all Monday for the Raw review. Everybody
Thank
have a
you.
great night. Stay sexy, everybody.
All right, Jake. Keep it hard, baby.
Thanks, Joe.
Good night, Jake. And if you guys go over to Botch Club right now, you guys can see a ton of awesome stuff on Botch Club, including right now me breaking my hand. It's already got 860 views and 41 comments as I busted my hand on this fucking box here. So check out Botch Club on Instagram. Go follow them. Give them look at all the botches from AEW tonight. Oh my god, dude. There's just so many.
Bud?
Oh my
What
god.
up, D-Welsh?
Wow,
Hey,
bro.
Joe, thanks for a good night, dude.
Hey, D. Welsh, man, thanks, man. Thanks for last night, and sorry it didn't work out. And, bro, you have a...
Hey, no problem, dude.
All right, Welsh. I love you, man. I'll see you, dude.
All right, bro.
Peace out, Welsh. Thanks to everybody for being here. Come on over to Patreon right now. Get over to Patreon right now. We're going to be up and running on Patreon in just about 5 minutes or so. So come on over. I got the questions up there already. We're ready to go. We're not going to be talking about All Out, though, so it'll be other stuff. But come on over to Patreon right now. Sign up. For $1, you can listen tonight. Shout out to everybody else who's gone above and beyond that, too, man. We got fucking Junebug here. He's above and beyond that. All right, guys. We'll see you over there. And I will I'm going to revisit this tomorrow and Monday because there's more to talk about with this.